They're kind of like a browny, shitty brown, sort of, diabetic piss color, Um,
That's hilarious. Yeah, when I saw them, it made me think of two things: your hatred for glasses like that, and Hunter S. Thompson. Hey, everybody out there, welcome back to another episode of the Audiophiles. It's Andy, it's John, and it's time to chop up some music. So, John is going to be offering up something for me to go off and listen to, and I am looking very much forward to that. But in order to do any of that, I'm going to need you, John, to give me the medicine. What am I listening to today, and who is it by?
you will take your medicine and you will thank me for it. So the band we're going back to, one that we sort of delved into recently for the first time, that band is Wand.
Wand. That was we saw that was a live performance, right?
Yes,
Something Cloud or something like that.
Blue Cloud.
Blue Cloud. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, off the album Plum.
Okay.
Um, Wand have a new album out this year. It came out just a couple of months ago, and that's it there. And this is a track from it,
Okay. All right.
live on KEXP.
Oh, so this is a obvious so new album. This is a different performance from the because I know
Yes,
usually they go into KXP, they do 4 or 5 tracks or whatever. Okay, so this
yeah.
is
So the one you saw was from 2000 and I don't know, 2017, 18, something like that. And this one's from last year, so they obviously had some of the tracks already to go.
right.
Um, so yeah, this is their most recent single, Smile.
Cool, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely enjoyed that live version. I think what stood out to me a lot in that was the guitars, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm looking forward to checking out this song. You said it's called Smile?
Smile.
Okay, all right. Well, I will give it a listen. I'll give it a watch too because it's a live performance, and I'll come back and let y'all know what I think. Nice. hmm Was wondering what those ambient kind of warbly guitar sounds were coming from. And of course, it's our old friend Bo on strings, in this case, the electric guitar. I think we've had, what, Bo on bass, Bo on electric guitar so far on this channel. Yeah, very cool. Very trancy kind of sounds they're creating. Although I looking at this man's sunglasses and I'm thinking, God, that probably really was wearing at John to see those amber shaded sunglasses. I know he's a huge fan. But no, this is already starting off in a very interesting, kind of intriguing note here. So I'm interested to see where they go from here. Hmm. Oh, that sounds so nice. I got to hear that beat drop again. That was so good. The way the bass and the drums just came in. It was like when you're reaching a crest on a hill and you get to the top and it's just this beautiful clearing out before you. Oh man, that sounded so damn good. These guitars are working so well together. So interesting about the lyrics there. He like repeated that line or a close variant of it. I'm not really sure. It sounded like it was the same line. About sort of acknowledging that whatever was done was wrong. And then he follows up with, I just want to lie. And I was led to believe like a falsehood, like tell a lie. But then he follows up with something about, out here at your side or something about by your side. And it's like, oh, that's a different kind of lie. It was almost like they intentionally led you as the listener or me as the listener to think he was talking about telling falsehoods when really he was talking about just being next to someone laying down. Uh, if that's even where they went, I don't know. That's just where my head went with it, but that's interesting set of lyrics. And I wonder what this thing is that he's discussing in this relationship. I was wrong. I don't want to tell you that I knew that it was wrong. I just want to lie out here at his side, going for a smile. You will be back. I could see that in your eyes. The overdrive on that bass. I know everything I did is 'cause you thought it was right. I know everything I did 'cause it was right. I just hang it up, free as open air. Going back, I'm going back. I just wanna run back to you now. Oh, yeah. Nice bass. Okay, yeah, I'm taking this back. This is so damn good. The lead guitar on that SG is just lovely. And the kind of the classic chord progression on the Les Paul is really great, but right then it's like he had a little bit more chug into it, and then you had all of this like rapidity on the pick work that was being played by the SG. God damn, that was good. And there was this awesome little. They didn't show the bass player, but there was this lovely little bass run that he did. Just those hammer-on pull-off trills while you're just singing this very melodic bit. Your fingers are going 120 miles an hour while you're, the lyrics that you're vocalizing are coming out at like, a moderate 45 miles per hour. It's just wild. I want to take that back and experience it again. Good shit. And, this bass player is doing a lot more than what the camera is catching, because when the camera's not on him, you'll hear these great little runs and fills that he's doing, and then right when they finish, they pan over to him, and he's just kind of back into the groove again, which, I mean, the groove is great. And I'm all for the bass player getting camera time, but, like, can we make it when he's doing something pretty cool? Not to take anything away from the rest of the song, but, like, when he's on those runs, it sounds so great. Now they're both playing lead? Jesus. Hmm.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.
That was beautiful. I loved that. Uh, Everybody did their part. The drums and the bass created this wonderful sort of canvas um, for those two guitars to just absolutely fucking shine, man. I'll tell you what. Between your man on the SG and this Fear and Loathing era Hunter S. Thompson fellow on the gold Les Paul, they were just meshing so well together. Whether they were both playing, their respective parts of the SG playing lead guitar and the Les Paul playing rhythm, or there towards the end, they were both kind of just doing lead work together. It was fabulous. And I really liked his voice. I thought it matched this song so well. I'm still a little confused on like what he was discussing as far as like the dynamics of this relationship or who exactly the subject was that he was addressing, but it felt right and god damn it sounded good too. Yeah, I like this a bit more than I think Blue Cloud. So yeah, this was a hell of a tune and a lot of fun to watch it all play out too. Just stellar rhythm work, excellent guitar. What more can you ask for from a rock and roll song? Let's get back to John.
Heston Blumenthal, he's back. So you've had a watch of your second experience of Wand with Smile. What are your thoughts?
Well, I Smile is what I was left with after and throughout this. I liked it a lot. I actually think I'm pretty certain I like this more than Blue Cloud. I'll have to go back and give it a listen. And just watching this and listening to this was enough impetus for me to want to go back and check it out again. But man, there was this performance was really, really good. And again, those guitars did not disappoint, which I'll expand on later as I go through my notes here, which are pretty extensive. So as the KEXP signage is shown, I can already hear like slightly ominous and warbly sounds coming in and out of focus as the video begins. And then I get my answer to my piqued curiosity, and we've got a bow being dragged across the strings of this beautiful gold Gibson Les Paul. And I chuckled at that. I think now we've got all of our bases covered on bows on modern rock instruments. Like we've seen them on bass, we've seen them on guitar now here on the channel. And of course, you can't help but think of Jimmy Page when you see that. So the guitarist places the bow down, replacing it with a pick, and his bandmate on another beautiful Gibson, this time in SG, begins this bit of noodling himself. And it's really all super atmospheric. And I wonder, is this the first track of the KEXP performance? Do you happen to
Couldn't
know?
tell you.
Because it just
Couldn't
has
tell
that
you.
feel. It just has that feeling, the way everything's kind of being assembled together. Like this is the perfect beginning track to a set, the way everything's kind of slowly coming together and into focus. So yeah, super atmospheric vibe already. And finally, your man in the amber colored sunglasses, which absolutely made me laugh because I'm like, I know
They're
John
not
would.
yellow. They're not yellow.
What color were they? They looked amber to me.
They're kind of like a browny, shitty brown, sort of diabetic piss color. Um,
That's hilarious. Yeah, when I saw them, it made me think of two things: your hatred for glasses like that, and Hunter S. Thompson. So I was like, "Oh, you're man," because just his whole outfit was Hunter
yeah,
S.
yeah,
Thompson
pretty
variant.
gonzo, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, so yeah, he begins to strum like a proper chord progression. So everything's kind of like taking shape here, and shortly after that, the drums and this overdrive soaked bass come thundering in. All the while, the SG is continuing this melodic, higher registered theme, and I had to take that back because when
Mm.
that beat hit, it was just like, oh, it was just milk and honey, man. I loved it. So yeah, the way the music hit with that rhythm when the rhythm section joined in reminded me almost of like when you crest a hill and you get to the top and you see this clearing, this like vast openness.
Yeah.
It's like you struggle to get there, and then once that hits, it's like everything becomes clear. And I just loved that so much. And I'm a real sucker for those bends on the guitar that add this shot of attitude to the riff by the rhythm guitarist lead singer. And then we were treated to a couple verses in succession. And by the time the second verse ends, they begin to jam a bit. And I'm appreciating more and more the interplay of these two guitars over the top of this gravelly terrain that's being created by the rhythm section. And I should also say that I found the lyrics interesting at this point, particularly how just the song started, the first verse with the singer repeating the line, "I don't want to tell you that I know that this was wrong," or some. I don't know if it's a direct if he like says it twice or if he says two things that are very similar. But
Yeah.
yeah, but with the same I guess he's conveying the same point in that sort of slightly different but repeated line there. And then he follows it up with "I just want to lie." And that kind of led me to think that he'd rather provide a falsehood than tell her what he knows that whatever it is, was wrong. But cleverly, the next line catches me off guard because he sings out here at your side. So then he's suggesting laying down next to your side with a lie, not lie as in I'm telling a falsehood. And it's almost like he's intentionally manipulating the listener with sort of like manipulated expectation. So I thought that that was really clever and interesting, and I wonder if intentional. So to this point, it sounds like we have two people who care for each other, who share a recent experience that is less than optimal, or that has some lasting effect on them as a collective. And that's kind of a curious situation. And the more vague it is, the more curious I am. And he's pretty vague throughout all of this. So anyway, back to this instrumental portion after that second verse and these guitars. There's this bit just around the 4 minute mark where the rhythm guitarist, lead singer, adds these a little chugging to his wah laden strumming on that Les Paul, while the lead guitarist on that Oxblood SG starts laying into these rapid pick work with like this alacrity to it. And needless to say, I really enjoyed that bit. As fleeting as it was such a neat little change of pace and proof that they can jam out on something that is a constant, but that they can put little variations into it to keep it fresh and interesting. So during whatever this next portion with vocals is, I guess I don't know, because the it's so weird, verse, then I guess chorus, then some vocal outro. It was just a very interesting structure. It's not your verse chorus 90s rock song, right? You know what I mean? So anyway, he says during this next portion, another reference to lie. Interesting. He sings "Dream a place where you don't have to lie," and I'm no closer to understanding what the lie is, nor though am I any less intrigued by the deliberate second use of the term. It only underscores like its importance, I guess, to him, and its level of interest for me, the listener. Later, after imploring the subject of the song to dream, the singer then directs the person to scream their little head off and to direct it toward the sky. Is this anger, futility? I still don't know, but I want to. During the next portion, where he sings about running back to morning light, the singer drops these great trills and hammer-ons and pull-offs on the strings of his guitar, and they sound fabulous. And it's like he switched roles with the fellow on the SG, and now he's playing lead. But actually, once the SG joins him, or they pan to him, and I start to focus on they're both playing lead, and they're kind of like harmonizing with one another, like they're doing it in the same key or different octaves or something like that, where it's paired so well together. So both those melodies are like layered on top of each other, and it sounds fucking stunning. Then around the 650 mark, everything kind of hushes down a bit, and we gently sway to completion with these light touches of cymbal work. and more of this ambient guitar notation that kind of introed the song. So a lovely little bow that they put on this. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole experience. The performance was fucking fabulous. The music was even better. And those guitars were so in sync that it was like they were two hands operating by the same brain. And they worked over top this really rich canvas spun by the rhythm section. So obviously I'm curious about the lyrics and the meaning, but I am certain about the music, which it absolutely kicked ass. So yeah, this is a big winner for me. I really, really enjoyed this one, John.
Excellent, excellent. So, as I said before, this was recorded in July 2023, KEXP. We have done a previous episode which I talked about the band, its formation and its progress, etc. So I won't go over that. I will put a link into the previous song, and we'll probably do some more one stuff, so I'll end up being a playlist. But just to recap the personnel, Corey Hansen was vocals and guitar. Robbie Cody was the other guitar. Evan Backer on bass, and Evan Burrows on drums. Now, you may have remembered that there was a lady on keys in the previous one. She only sort of stayed one album.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So this is the first single from their 2024 album, Vertigo, that bad boy there. It's their fifth studio album, and it's the first one since 2019's Laughing Matter. They did release a live album in 2022, but it's a 5-year gap, so it's a healthy. Corey Hansen's done some 2, 3, at least 2, if not 3 solo albums in the meantime, which are all pretty good. This album received universal acclaim on Metacritic with a score of 84. So what they did for this, they did this a wee bit on Plum, and a bit more on Laughing Matter, but they really went to town on this. They had basically over 50 hours of improvised jams to form 8 tracks for this album. So they sort of meshed them together, shaped them, and then Backer, the bass player, then added a string and wind arrangements to really bolster out some of the tunes, which this didn't have. The cover photo I fucking love is taken by John Devola. And I seem to remember reading about this, but then when I went to do the research, I cannot find any trace of this, so I could have imagined it. But I believe he took this from his car in the desert, and it was a wild dog racing along the side of the car. That's what I remember reading, but I can't find any evidence that's true.
Okay.
So it is true now. So just a couple of snippets from some of reviewers. Glide magazine said this is a noir-tinged record, looming with tension, theatrical elevation, and lush orchestration. Smile features crushing riffs and a mysterious edge-harkening Jim O'Rourke-era Sonic Youth sound. So that's an interesting sort of reference there.
Mm-hmm.
Stereo Gum chose it as album of the week. Or have I put here alum of the week? So I spelled it wrong. They said a set of patient yet explosive guitar-powered epics that reaffirm one's status as one of underground rock's hidden treasures. And in this, they do quite a big write-up, and they reference a guy that I'm not familiar with, but you may have heard of. They said last week, the veteran culture editor and indie rock zealot David Malitz went to a concert and observed, based on the massive songs they played last night, the new Wand album is going to miraculously find the exact midpoint of 1995's Smashing Pumpkin, 1995's Oasis, and 1995's Radiohead.
I didn't say this in the reaction, but those guitars at times definitely had Oasis vibes to me. And I know that it's not the same finished product, but just the element and the tone of the guitar, maybe both of them, but definitely one of them, damn, that sounded a lot like Oasis to me. I didn't bother saying it. I feel like an ass for not, because now you're like, yeah, the other people who are professionals said it sounded like Oasis. And I'm like, God damn it. But yes.
So I know, for me, it was quite a bit of Radiohead to this. I mean, his vocals developed into Tom York. But so he continues, cue up Smile, a floating, distorted lullaby in the liminal space between Champagne Supernova, Oasis song, and the second disc of Melancholy, or witness the desolate landscape of JJ. That's another track off the album, which is blooming into fuzzed out beauty like a forgotten highlight from the Airbag How Am I Driving EP
Yeah.
by
So
Radiohead.
Champagne Supernova is the one that I think I mentioned this before. It's like slowly walking down the hall faster than a cannonball. Is that this? Yes, that guitar motif was like in my head, but I didn't buy. Like, I'm like, this is a me thing probably. But oh my god, that's so crazy. Yeah.
Just
That's
interesting,
awesome.
other people picking up on stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a bit of pumpkins in there as well, I guess, but that's more of a generic sound, I think. But
yeah. I
yeah,
agree. I
but
agree.
interesting though, interesting. I mean, I will say this about the album. I've tried to sort of absorb it as much as I can in the sort of few weeks I've had it. I would say for me, the album Plum I absolutely adore, and it was the first one that really gripped me. So I guess when you forget the first album you really like by a band, it's usually the one that sticks in your head. Laughing Matter's decent. There's no, it is good, but it wasn't quite as good. This feels on a par with Plum. It just feels a bit more experimental. They're pushing the boundaries a little bit more. I think Laughing Matter was a bit more polished and a sort of formed idea, which is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But this just feels more exciting, this album. So there you go.
Nice.
The lyrics. I put in my notes instrumental intro with Jimmy Page bowing. Shenanigans, shenanigans, shenanigans. 2 minutes 28, he starts singing. I will also say that this performance, I think, is better than the album studio version. I just think the
Oh.
guitars are a bit more,
Mhm.
nothing wrong. The studio version is fantastic, but I just think there's a little bit more oomph to this. Not a much, but anyway, I don't want to tell you that I know that I was wrong. I don't want to tell you that I knew that it was wrong. I just want to lie out here at your side, going for a smile. You would be back. I can see that in your eyes. I know everything you did was because you thought it was right. I know everything I did because I do it because it's right. I just want to hang it up, free your eyes opening, going back, going back. I just want to run back to you now. And then we get into this second instrumental break. And then it comes back with a sort of lullaby bit. Sweet little baby, dream a place where you don't have to lie. Dream, little baby, dream a place you'll never come back. Dream a place you'll never become mine. Dream, little darling, I just want to run back to you tonight. Scream, little baby. Scream your little head off, baby. Scream your little head off at the sky. And then he sort of finishes with running back to morning light 8 times. And as he sings that, he starts really, as you say, shredding that sort of hammer on pick off. I mean, that is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we have the outro. And that there's a bit in it where they're sort of almost facing each other. They're doing the guitars. Now, it's really interesting at the start. There are two very disparate sounds. This sort of reverb heavy, sort of distorted sound, and then this clear, sort of beautiful melodic sound. And they're very different, but they come together and mesh. And my first thoughts was thinking it's almost the partnership is a bit like television, but obviously different guitars, but the way they're working together, really building and twisting into each other. Well, when they're standing facing each other, it just so reminded me of the Dream Syndicate. It was just, and the dynamics between those two guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and as you say, and then it sort of fades out. So I think this is kind of like his take. You're right. Something's happened. I think you can file it under.
Yeah.
What it is, we don't know. But it's almost like a bit of a. It's right. It is almost like a nursery rhyme type lullaby thing. And I think the overall theme I'm getting in there's a relationship thing, but it's about mortality as well within it. And references to the skies and lying back and stuff like that. It's all very interesting and clever. And I guess you could make what the hell you want out of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It could apply to probably a lot of different relationship dynamics, not just one type. Yeah.
But that's kind of one of those really clever lyrics where it's just opaque enough to keep you interested and then put your own take on it.
Yeah.
But it's not simple. It's it's not just simple lyrics. It's just very sort of crystallized and I really like that.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
like
this is a great track, great album. I'm so glad that it sort of met expectations. The official video to this is really cool and worth checking out as well.
Okay.
Um, and there's
Okay,
another
okay.
one, JJ, which is even better with this animated shit, which is cool. A really, really good track as well. So yeah, we'll funnel some more ones your way. I think there's some really is, and their earlier stuff as well is really, some of it's absolutely brilliant as well.
Yeah,
But
please do.
they really feel like he's. So another review mentioned that they're kind of like, this is like modern day Radiohead looking back at older Radiohead and playing it now, how with the knowledge they have now, playing what they
Mhm.
used to play. And that kind of is a really good comparison because there's a lot of that in it. But again, it's more, they're not the same people who were when they did the Bends, but
Yeah.
awesome album that is. But there you go. Okay, so I'll just wrap things up and say thank you for listening to this, Andy.
Well, thank you for offering it.
Thank you, folks out there, for getting this far. Thank you, KEXP, for hosting it. Thank you, Wand, for playing it. Yeah, thank you all round. Well done, everybody. Well done, everybody. So, tell us what you think of this song. If you like it, do hit the like button. It helps us in all ways and things with YouTube. Please drop some comments. We'd love to hear from you. Anyone else got this album? What do they think of it? Is it a Bobby Dazzler, or it is a hair in the plug hole? You tell us what you think. Love to hear from you. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And joy unbeknown will come to you just when you're not at least expecting it. We do appreciate everybody who supports the channel. So yeah, help us move on upwards and make other people's lives miserable as well. That being said, thanks again so much for watching. And we'll see all of you in the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.